Well, they came out, and this, of course, are the presiding officers led by the National Assembly Speaker, and they did make their way out here, Flo. And if Patrick can walk with me, they were just inspecting even that particular, platform. That is the stage where you will see, the president, and of course there'll be as the 21-gun salute happens, there'll be, some presiding officers there standing, the sing of the national anthem, and all of that. So they got up onto that stage to make sure it is steady, because theirs, Flow, was to make sure that the infrastructure that is being put in here is in fact ready ahead of tomorrow. These are the final preparations, and everyone believes that it's going to be all systems go. They've now gone inside to make sure that even inside, for all those over 400 National Assembly, in fact, members of Parliament, they'll then be able to get them to be seated. But also remember, there are the guests that have also been catered for here, including the Chief Justice as well, who will be attending these particular proceedings. So they are going to make sure that all of that inside is in fact done. At the same time, Flo, this is the streets where you will be seeing some of those who are arriving, but at the same time, it will be the place where we will see that parade, by different members of the army, and we will of course bring the viewers that live to give them a sense of who is part of this, how are these members chosen, what are we seeing unfolding on our screens. And at the same time, when you walk through those doors, Flow, is of course right now something that the National Assembly Speaker was also talking about as they were having conversations here off camera, of course, to make sure that when everyone is seated inside, there is of course enough space, there is of course ventilation, but at the same time they want to make sure that security is as tight as it possibly needs to be, because Flo, you'd remember there are still of course quite a lot of concerns as well around the fact that safety. Is it guaranteed? At the same time, you think about the members of the economic freedom fighters who say that they will employ a different strategy, as they told us, on SABC News this time, to say that they will do whatever they can to make sure that President Cyril Ramaphosa does not deliver his State of the Nation.
Which have been put in place. I'm aware that there have been a lot of discussions between our teams together with that of the security cluster. I'm also aware that the security cluster ministers will also find an opportunity to come and view for themselves the way things have been arranged inside here. We're also happy with the sitting arrangement. We think that, the manner in which particularly, and I want to say this with regards to the front seat, I think that the manner in which seat allocation has been done is a true reflection of the representation of the different constituencies and parties in South Africa. And lastly, just to say that we hope that our IT system will not let us down. I'm aware that on the day of the memorial service, even though we could hear as the presiding officers, there are groups of people which could not hear properly. It seems the system was not as clear. So I'm hoping that those things have been attended to. We are here with the Secretary of Parliament, the Secretary of the NCOP, the Secretary of the National Assembly. They will take any questions which relate, and the DG of the Presidency of Cabinet is also here. So it's all systems go as far as we are concerned. We're looking forward to tomorrow. It is a big day, as you know, and it's something which South Africans should always keep at the back of their minds, that any country, any nation, when you prepare and finally host your State of the Nation address, it's a very important and a rare occasion for interaction amongst members of the judiciary, of the legislature, of the executive, who will all be under the same roof. It is the one day on the calendar of the Republic where you find these three arms of the state under the same roof. So it's an important day, and that's all I can say.
Yeah. Chairperson of the National Council of Provinces, any impressions after the walk of?
As the Speaker has said, our impressions are very positive. We are fairly confident that everything will go according to plan.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much. So the Secretary to Parliament is also here. Not sure whether you want to wait for the questions.
I'll wait.
Yeah. Okay. Any questions to the presiding officers and the Secretary to Parliament? We
Speaker,
also have the House Chairperson.
Speaker, I'm Christian Lepresi from Netback Pirantuanta. Speaker, my first question would be, the EFF has now threatened to disrupt SONA. How would you handle the EFF during the SONA, and what would your message be to Mr. Julius Malema?
Why should I address Mr. Julius? To all members of Parliament, I've heard about the threat. It remains to be proven that that is what will happen. As far as we are concerned, this is a very unique opportunity for the arms of state, as I've said, to be under the same roof, and for the president to address the nation. It's a once-off. It's the one occasion you have in any calendar, in a calendar of any country, where the president interacts with Parliament, actually takes Parliament, the country actually, the nation, through the entire program of government, reflect on the achievements of government the previous year, and actually talk to us about how he sees the future of the country. So it's the only opportunity, and I think that all of us without exception as South African, it's a day, yes, we may have challenges. We may have challenges as a country. We may have challenges related to, dissatisfaction about this and that, our inability to achieve ABC, DNE. But the point is, it is an occasion which is supposed to be a solemn occasion where the president of the country addresses the nation. He's not addressing the EFF. He's not addressing the ANC. He's not addressing members of Parliament only. He will be talking to the nation, the people who voted him into power, and will be giving a feedback about how things have been moving. And I think for me, this is the message I would like you to convey, make a plea to South Africans to have an appreciation of what a State of the Nation address is about. It's not about the president, it is about the country. It is about a country whose freedom we fought so hard for.
Are you having sleepless nights, Speaker, given the threats? I mean, in the past they have been carried out. Are you having sleepless nights? Are you practicing point of order?
Not at all. We'll be together. Not at all. I'm not having sleepless nights. Reasons being that we have rules. We've all taken an oath to the Constitution of the Republic of South Africa. And once you take that oath, you are also committing yourself to the rules which have been developed by those who have been there before you and adopted by Parliament. And therefore, as members of Parliament, all of us without exception, we have an obligation. One, firstly, to obey the rules of Parliament, to obey the rules of the laws of the Republic, but also to obey to allow for the presiding officers to provide guidance, including the rulings. And sometimes some of the rulings may not be comfortable as we steer Parliament, but you still have to listen to what the presiding officers have to say and accept that a ruling has been made. So I do not want to entertain this notion of people who are threatening to disrupt the State of the Nation address. The State of the Nation address will proceed. And I can assure you, it will be successful. However, we just need to have an understanding amongst one another that we are adults and that we are serving the people of South Africa, and that whatever we do inside this house, the people of South Africa as voters who put us here are watching. So we've got to be patient with one another. There has to be mutual respect for one another, and we have to listen to one another. So I don't think that Emasondo has sleepless nights. I don't have sleepless nights. Obviously, you worry every now and then because people have surprises. I hope you will also not surprise us.
Another point, Speaker, I'm sure on your way here you should see that there's traffic around the Cape Town City Hall. and it does extend to disrupting some of the businesses in the area. Is the culture of the pomp and ceremony something that is here to stay, or is it something that you should reconsider in the future?
No. Yes, disruption. But I can assure you, this management which is here has interacted with all the stakeholders, including traders who operate from the market across the parade. There's been interaction, there's an understanding of where they will be relocated to so that their business is not interrupted. So everything we do, every step that we take, we always ensure that there is consultation and there's agreement and there's an understanding and appreciation of the reason why this has to be done in this way. Obviously, we're not going to be here for 5-10 years. We will be here for now because there's a temporary inconvenience as far as I'm concerned, which was caused by the fire. In the near future, we will be able to restore and rebuild our parliament. And we will be able to go and work again from the premises which are owned by Parliament.
All right, is there any further question? And also, I think just to add on what the speaker is saying, that we tend to focus sometimes on the inconveniences to the business, etc. But we don't focus that there is an economic benefit of SONA taking place in Cape Town. And I'm sure research will show you the benefits to business around town, etc. So really the benefits far outweigh the little inconveniences that we are causing to some of the businesses around here.
Madam Speaker, I would like to ask another question. This is now the second year that SONA will happen in the City Hall. I'd like to add to what my colleague said. Will it next year also be in the City Hall, or will it be held in Parliament?
I don't want to mislead you at all. We will still be here, much as there are plans underway of restoration of our Parliament, but obviously it cannot be done in a year's time. It couldn't have been done in 2 years' time. So give us time. I am sure come maybe in 2 years' time, which will be 2026, 5 or 6, we will have a parliament, a proper parliament. We will not be sitting in this hall. We will not be there, some of us, but I can assure you whatever behind the scenes work which is being done by the Secretary of Parliament and his team, it is meant to ensure that in the near future we are back in our parliament.
All right, thank you very much. And in conclusion, just to introduce you to the man tasked with the responsibility to usher the president into the chamber tomorrow. He is a young man from KZN.